Hey guys, what's up and welcome to another video. Today we are going to be talking about Gaylords of books. A Gaylord, if you're not familiar, is a unit of measurement, which is basically a pallet with a box on top that is the size of the pallet, so 40 inches by 44 inches, and then 40 inches tall. It is a rather large unit of measurement and can fit quite a bit of books in it. And so we are going to talk about that today. A lot of people have come to me over the past month and a half and asked questions as far as what to pay, what to look for, what is the profitability, what tools do I need. And so we're going to cover all of that in today's video. So let's move along. We're going to jump into my computer and I'm going to show you step by step what you need, how it works, and how to get hooked up with buying Gaylords of books. All right, let's go. All right, so here we have, I put just kind of a basic outline of what we should be looking for and the information associated with buying Gaylords of books. You can buy things like books, which is what we're going to talk about, clothing, CDs, DVDs. It just depends on what your local Goodwill outlet is willing to sell you. Every state is different. I have friends in other states that had to go through more of a corporate level, Goodwill corporate, in order to lock in this deal. I also, I myself went straight to the Goodwill outlet and started talking to the manager and basically let them know that I was here to buy. I'm here to play this game seriously and I'm not leaving without some Gaylords. And so I kind of got put through the ringer a little bit, and but eventually I walked away with the books, and it was a massive win. I will give my story real briefly, and then we'll go into this information. Basically, I woke up one day, I had gotten a tip that I could buy Gaylords from the Goodwill outlet, not a normal Goodwill store. And then I could take the pallet home, and I could sort through the books there. Well, I didn't know what I would need, so I asked a friend of mine if we could use their truck and trailer. We drove to the Goodwill outlet on Monday morning when it opened. I asked to see the manager. She was not happy about me asking to buy these Gaylords, or rather a Gaylord. I wanted one. And so she told me that they did not sell them. I said, well, I know for a fact that you do because I have a friend who bought them from you recently. And so we went back and forth a little bit. It was kind of a rough start, but I said, look, I'm not leaving without one of these Gaylords of books. What will it take for us to work this out? And so she kind of got frustrated, this manager, and she said, well, you know, how about this? You have to buy 6. You buy 6 of them, and then I'll let you have it. And I said, cool. Give me 1 hour. I knew that the trailer that we brought would not hold 6, and so we had to go rent a truck. We drove right down the road from our Goodwill outlet where a U-Haul store was. I had a little bit of money in my pocket, so I knew that I could swing this. I rented the U-Haul truck. We drove back. I said, here we are. We got this big truck. Let's load it up. She was very shocked, and I think a little bit pleased that I took action and kind of called her on this. She sold me 6 Gaylords of books. I took them home, and it was extremely profitable for that first trip. I've done 4 trips since then, and each one has been profitable. However, that being said, each time I go, it seems that they're charging me a little more per pound every single time. And so we're going to talk about all of that right now. Buying Gaylords of books. The first line item we have here, why you should buy Gaylords of books. If you are a bookseller on Amazon and you are wanting to bolster up and really massively flood your store with new inventory, buying Gaylords of books will do exactly that. It is very difficult to go from Goodwill to Goodwill normally, or thrift store to thrift store, or used bookstore to used bookstore, and pull the kind of volume that you can get very quickly with the Gaylords. So for me, I wanted to go over the 2,000 item minimum that I like for my store. I had, I think I would say 700 or 800 items in my store, and I really wanted to push past the 2,000 item mark. The reason for this is I sell on average between 1% and 1.5% daily of inventory per day, 7 days a week. That means I'm selling 30% to 45% of my inventory every month. That's excellent. You're selling through almost half the inventory at that rate. It's difficult to go to these little stores and buy smaller bags of books with enough quantity to cover what you're selling for that day, as well as enough to continue growing your inventory to these higher numbers. So why should you buy them? To really flood your store with new inventory. Where to buy them? There are several different areas. I'm sure that you can get these whether you're buying from used bookstores or Salvation Armies. I've heard of Salvation Armies selling Gaylords of books. However, I myself buy from the Goodwill outlet. This is not the normal Goodwill stores that you would run around in town and see. This would be the bins, okay? It's not a normal Goodwill store. It's basically the discount of everything that is a normal Goodwill store. It's where all the rejects from the normal Goodwill stores go. They kind of just pile everything in these giant blue bins, and people just sort through them and dig through them. It's dirty. It stinks. It's gross. It's dirty. But that's where you buy them. It's normally they deal in massive volume, and they sell everything by weight, not by price tag or color tag like a normal Goodwill would. For a link of for the link to find out how to find your local Goodwill outlet, down in the description, I will put it as the first link in the description will be the link that is the Goodwill outlet locator. And you can just go on there, search by state. I think you can search by zip code, and it'll show you the Goodwill outlet nearest to you. When to buy. So I was buying originally Monday mornings, right when they opened, and I found that this was not the best time to buy because most people that worked in the Goodwill outlet were not happy to be at work on Monday morning. They would prefer to be not there. So I went later on with my last trip. I went on a Wednesday morning, and it was much more pleasant of a time to go by. So that's when to buy. How much to pay? This is a huge question that I get repeatedly. How much should I pay for these Gaylords? I pay 8 cents per pound. So let's just use for an easy number, 1,000-pound Gaylord, which some of them are. Most of them are in the 400 to 600 range. For 1,000-pound Gaylord, I would pay $80 for that box. That's not bad. I really need to see that I'm going to pull, at least 30 or 40 books at $10 profit or more just to cover that initial cost for that one Gaylord. How much am I going to pay for my U-Haul? Okay, so that's a huge expense. I don't have a truck or a double axle trailer to pull these things or to transport them, so I had to rent a U-Haul. That was, for the smallest one, $110 or $120 after all the fees and taxes and fuel and all that stuff. For the smallest truck that I could fit it was a 15-foot U-Haul truck, and we barely fit the stuff in there, barely, because the actual box part that we can put the Gaylords is actually 12 feet. Each Gaylord is 4 feet long, 4, 8, 12, right? So 3 deep, 2 wide. And it was not easy. Later on, we stepped up to the 26-foot big boy truck, and it was a dream putting stuff in there and getting it out. That truck cost $180. So let's say that you pay on the high end $80 per Gaylord plus the $150. You're getting close to the $800 to $1,000 range. Also, depending on fuel, how far you have to drive with your truck. And there's like little nuanced costs here and there. So I would just say budget $800 to $1,000 to buy 6 Gaylords safely, and then be ready to work. How to store them. If you live in an apartment complex or in a home that's without a garage in town, that might be very difficult to store them. These things are huge. They take up a ton of space. And so you really have to pay attention on how you're going to store them. For myself, I live out in the country. I have 5.5 acres of field and woods, and I have a garage, and I have 2 storage sheds. And so we're able to store these things in those sheds and the garage. However, whenever we go through them, we have to cycle these things out. And then once every couple weeks or once every couple trips, we order a dumpster to come and take all the junk books away. Please note that you are going to get a ton of junk books. You're going to get so many books that are just garbage, that are literally torn or fraying or rejects. They're all rejects from normal stores. So you're going to have to have a way to get rid of these things. Some of the options that I considered disposing of these books, donating them to schools is a great thing. For the books that are not Amazon profitable, but are still in good condition. Local sellback stores. This could be bookstores. This could be mommy and me stores. This could be homeschool supply stores. This is also excellent for non-Amazon profitable books. So Amazon non-profitable books that are still in good condition. You can sell on eBay for books that you're restricted from selling on Amazon, but still are profitable. You can sell those on eBay. I've sold several books through eBay that way. But you're still going to come out with 5 or so Gaylords of just junk. And my thinking is I wouldn't want to put these books back in circulation of the thrift stores, because a couple weeks down the road, I might be buying the same junk books again. So I want to take them totally out of the market. What I did is I rented a giant dumpster, and I actually have a video of that here that I can pull up. Give me 1 second. All right, I have that video right here. I'm not sure if the sound is actually going to come through on this. This is a giant 20-yard dumpster. It's basically 20 feet long, 8 feet wide, 4.5 feet high, and it holds a substantial amount of books. There's obviously some nuance factors. You know, it can't be over a certain weight. It can't have certain things in it, like batteries or toxins or some stuff, whatever. But it was great for books. I had to keep it covered at night, so when these summer rainstorms came through, it didn't, fill the thing up with water and make the books too heavy. But that cost me $340, and so that's $340 every 2 weeks. So I would just cut that in half and call that $170 in order, per load. So that's really pushing towards the $1,000 per trip to go get the Gaylords. Yeah, I have a couple other pictures here that we can go through and kind of run down. This is actually what they wrote my weight and my dollar amount to be. So this is the very first trip I went on. This is not my handwriting. This is actually what the employee wrote. 661 pounds, 663, 662, 519, 577, and 570 pounds. Those are the 6 Gaylords. Costs associated at 8 cents per pound. And then right here at the bottom, $72 deposit. You see that right there. That $72 deposit is actually per Gaylord. So for the pallet and for the giant box, they charge you $12 each. And that is so that if you don't bring them back, they can actually buy a new one. If you take those Gaylords and pallets back, they will refund that money. Or if you're going to buy more Gaylords, they'll just transfer that over to the next Gaylord when you bring them back. So that's just kind of another expense, but you get that money back when it's all said and done. Total $364 plus tax. So for me, 6%, it was like, I don't know, $390 or $380 or something. No big deal. The next one was, let's see here. This was the second week, I want to say. They weighed them as 2 at a time. They weighed 2 at a time. Don't know why. So 1387, 1303, and 1267 for the weight. And you can see those were about 55, 50, 50. And then same price, like very, very close. $72 deposit because I didn't bring any back with me. I didn't bring any of those Gaylords back. Ended up being $388 plus tax. I think that week was $411 after tax. And And then this was week 1, kind of the breakdown. This is from my Instagram story. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I share all this stuff in real time as it happens. So the numbers: 1 U-Haul truck, that was a small U-Haul truck, 6 Gaylords of books, 451 total overhead. That was on the low end because I hadn't accounted for fuel and I hadn't accounted for the dumpster to come pick up all the junk books. We did not know like what we were doing. What were the numbers as far as we purchased over 4,000 books easily. We scanned 3,600 of them. There's always some that you're not going to scan because they're literally just trash, and so you throw them out. 530 profitable books. This is excellent. This is great numbers. 8,006 projected revenue, and then 2,351 net profit after cost of goods and fees. This is good. For 2 days of work for 1 week to pull this kind of potential profit is excellent. Obviously, these numbers can adjust a little bit if the cost of the book goes down or the rank adjusts within Amazon. That can move things around a little bit. This is the view from inside the truck, I guess. Having these books delivered out here, this is what it looks like. There's 6 of them right here. Some of them come out totally full to the top. This one back here, not so much. All right, guys, we've scanned this section of this first Gaylord, already filled up 1 IKEA bag with one $50 book and a couple $20 books, and then a bunch of random $2 to $4 books. So doing well. And then just a little time lapse of me in the box. This summer was crucially hot here in Virginia, as it is everywhere, and so in the back of a box truck, you're pretty much in an oven. It's not comfortable. It's not pretty. It's so dirty. It's disgusting. There's bugs in all these boxes. It's rough. This is kind of our operation right here. This right here is almost 2 Gaylords of books, profitable books right out the gate. Almost 2. All right. 6 Gaylords worth of profitable books. So much work, some good profit, so fun. And yeah. That's what you see. Those were the 2 Gaylords right there, almost 2. And then the rest that came out of the others. Some really great profit there. That was all off of my first trip. Here we go. All sorted. All of the labels printed. I want to say this is well over 500 books. They got shipped out. Some of the profits here. So anything that's over a $20 profit, I always screenshot and share that because it kind of gives some scope and context behind everything, right? So $34 profit, 33, 38, 36, 39, 24. And these are all, the ranks are really good. It's 600,000 rank, 100,000, 10,000, 95,000. These are excellent ranks, right? 105,000, 4,500 for this book right here. And it's a $50 book. Excellent ranks. Let's see this one right here, $116 profit. This one book, it'll cover 10% of our trip. There we go. A $73 profit on a 500,000 ranked book, $95 buy cost in the used buy box. We dominate the used buy box. I had a video coming later about that. You must dominate the used buy box. Some more profits here, 28, 25, 44, 38, 20, 31, 42, 39. And so those are the profits. I actually just sold these. They sold just about a week ago for $79. And so we pulled $57 profit just off these 4 books. There's some construction books or something from the 40s. Anyways, that's how much to pay. How to transfer them, U-Haul truck. You also need a pallet jack. Otherwise, you're not moving these things at all. A pallet jack goes roughly $140 or so for a used one on Craigslist or Letgo. How to store them? Store them in your shed. Store them in a storage unit. That's another cost. It's going to run you about $100 a month, maybe more, maybe less, depending on where you live. How to dispose of them? Giant dumpster. Okay, I tried taking mine to the dump. I couldn't get enough of them in my van to make the trip to the dump worth it. So definitely you have to have a dumpster or something. I tried lighting mine on fire. Books burn really slow. They burn forever. So the dumpster, or give them away for free. A complete breakdown of the costs associated. We kind of went over that with you have the Gaylords, you have the truck, you have fuel, you have a dumpster, you have to have the one-time payment to buy a pallet jack. You also need to have a scanner. You need a scanner, whether it be something like this Eyoyo 1D scanner. It's $40 on Amazon. There's a link in the description for that scanner. Whether it be something like that, or the $280 scanner, you have to have a scanner. If you rely on the camera feature on your phone, you'll be scanning these things forever, right? With the scanner, we averaged about 2 hours per Gaylord, just kind of like flowing through it, right? 2 hours per Gaylord, that's 12 hours of work. If you're using your phone, you're going to turn that into 24 to 30 hours of work easily, because the phone just takes so much more time than the scanner itself. And then you'll need a dedicated scanning app. You're not going to be able to use the free Seller Central app in order to do this, because it doesn't give you enough information. You need to know days with sales, and that app doesn't give it to you. You have to have something that works fast, gives you all the information right away. That's where a dedicated scanning app comes into play. My recommendation for you is Scoutly. I love Scoutly. We have like this close bond and relationship. It's great. So get Scoutly. There's a link in the description for a free 30-day trial if you want to check it out and see if it works for you. Get the scanner. It'll go so much faster. You'll save time, and time is money, right? Tools that you need, just told you, pallet jack and a scanner and a dedicated scanning app for your smartphone. Time needed to complete it all. I would say 4 days, straight grinding, no stopping. You need at least 2 hours for each Gaylord in order to go through them thoroughly, right? So some books don't have a barcode. Scan the ISBN. That takes a little bit more time. You need that dedicated scanning app like Scoutly for that. Then once everything's done, you have to condition your books. You have to clean your books. You have to list your books. For listing them, whenever you're talking about 500 books in a week, you need a dedicated listing software where you can list a massive amount of books in a short amount of time. I use ScanLister. ScanLister is the very best thing that I've found for listing absolute ridiculous amounts of books very quickly. Okay, so you basically use your scanner, you hook it to your computer using the manual. It tells you how to do it. And then you literally just scan the barcode, scan, and it puts it into its own dedicated spreadsheet. And then you just click upload, and it uploads it to Amazon. And 5 minutes later, everything is populated, and then you can go on with your shipping plan from there. There is a free trial for ScanLister also down in the description. You absolutely need that. If you're going to try to manually list 500 books in a week from the Seller Central app, you're not going to get it done. I'm an optimist, right? I love, the glass is always half full, but I also understand, like, when something literally, like when the constraints literally limit you from doing something, I can recognize that. Get a dedicated listing software. Why you shouldn't buy books in mass quantities in the Gaylords. The only thing that I can think of is if you don't have the available funds right now, then you shouldn't do it. If you don't have the space or infrastructure built to do that, then you shouldn't do it. And then the last reason that I can think of is if you just don't want to grow, right? If you have those other two things, but you just don't want to grow your business, then you shouldn't do it. But if you're lazy, there's another reason. If you're lazy, you definitely shouldn't do it, because it is an absolute behemoth amount of work. So if you're not lazy and you've got the funds to do this, and you're ready to grow, and you're ready to really if you're ready to really pack your Amazon store with inventory, this is definitely the way to do it. I hope this helps all of you. I hope this video brings value, right? I hope that it connects with you and shows you what is possible outside of this realm here. If this video helped, I really would appreciate that thumbs up, as well as maybe subscribe if that's something you're inclined to do, and hit that notification bell so that you know when I upload more videos to help you out with your Amazon journey. You can check those links in the description for special free trials with some of this software and tools that I use, that my wife and I use, and then also the link to our brand new free Amazon FBA Mastermind group is also down there. I would love to have you join that and lend your voice to the conversation. We're trying to build, something where it's, a peer group, so everyone can ask everyone, and we all pitch in and give great advice to help others along, because we only win when we all win. We only win when we all win. There we go. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video, tuning in, sticking it out to the end. I hope you guys have an excellent day, and I'll see you on the next video.